Tell me about Chris. Tell me about Chris when he was a little boy.
It was really funny about Chris, when Dot and I got married, why I bought that trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and we had it in the trailer park and everything. And all the women in the trailer park said the reason we got married was because Dot was pregnant, but Chris wasn't born till 6 years later.
Uh-huh.
So I said, well, that's unusual, carry the kid for 6 years, Then a year or two later, we had Teresa. But Teresa only lived for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
She was gone. Then a few years later, we had Angela.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of years later, Kelly came along.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just fine. They were good kids, But when it come time to start them in the school, Dot and I took a program put on by UC Davis. It was called Family in Focus.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, we were worried maybe we weren't doing everything right, for raising the kids and stuff. So we took this class, and
Mm-hmm.
it was about problem families. So one of the things that fascinated me the most was we would write down all the information, and they would bring the man and woman out on the stage first, and the psychologist would ask them these questions.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a problem child, they'd ask them all about the problems and stuff. And we would be taking notes down and everything. And then after they got done questioning parents why they took the parents into another room and they brought the kid out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would question the kids.
Okay.
And it was totally different. You figured if the problem they had was, and the kid would be, the kid's answers would be totally different than the parents.
Right.
They would be,
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that fascinated me the most is the different problems they had, And they had one boy that the parents come out, they brought him out there and they questioned him about what the problem was and stuff. And the parents said, well, the father said that the boy is a biter.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, you know what you do when you get a kid that bites like that? Well, you take their arm and you bite them and show them that it hurts, and that's not the thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, this kid is a biter.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, give me an example. He said, well, when they go to church, to Mass, they have another room that they put the kids in so they wouldn't be making a lot of noise.
Right.
And all that. And the kid is in a room with these other kids at playground, like,
Mm-hmm.
And this other kid had something that his kid wanted, and he wanted the kid to give it to him to play with,
Mm-hmm.
and the kid wouldn't give it to him. So he says, my son bit him, you know, and he said, well, show him that it hurts and he shouldn't do that. He says, no, you don't understand. He's a biter.
Mm-hmm.
He bit the kid's nose almost completely off.
Oh.
You know, so that was one of the more drastic problems and stuff. But after we went through this class, I don't know how many weeks, and but at the end of the class, we decided that we didn't have any problems with our kids. Our kids were really good and normal,
Yeah.
and our kids were really really better than most of the kids we saw. One Dot had rheumatic fever the second time. Why? I would take him on the weekends when I wasn't working. Why? I would take him to lunch and stuff. Dot would be here with her mother, staying with her, and I would take the kids out to lunch, and we'd go to McDonald's. You know, we go in and sit down. And then I'd ask them what they wanted, and they'd tell me what they wanted, you know, and then I would go get it. And the kids just were really quiet and stuff, you know. And all the other kids in McDonald's were jumping up and down and noisy and all that other stuff, you know. And our kids weren't anything like that,
Yeah.
you know. And after that family and focus deal, that class with Davis, why, they had a guy came up from Southern California, and he was teaching here. And he put on a demonstration for Valley High School, you know. And in that demonstration, why, the language was so filthy and everything that I was really affected by it. I didn't expect to see high school kids cussing like they were, and foul language and everything. So it was before our kids were ready to go to school. And I looked around at the public schools and thinking about what we saw from this demonstration at Valley High School. We decided to put them in the Catholic school. So they went to St. Charles, and they went all the way through grade school and high school in the Catholic schools, you know. So, of course, it costs money, you know. So I worked a lot of times, 6 days a week, and that way we could pay the tuitions and no problem, you know, stuff. So,
All right.
but our kids were really good kids
Yeah.
all the way through, you know. Then Chris, when he was 10, he had to have heart surgery. And after the heart surgery, the doctor told us that he wouldn't live to be 21, you know. So he was always special, and spent all the time I could with him, you know. Did everything I could for him. he wasn't wasn't like a normal kid.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, he couldn't lock his elbows and stuff like that, you know. And he couldn't run like the other kids could and stuff. So sports were more or less out. And I always talked with the teachers, you know, about warned them ahead of time, you know. So
What was he like as a little kid?
as a little kid,
Mm-hmm.
he was he was a real sweet little kid, you know. And he took everything in stride, you know. And
I heard he didn't crawl to start with.
no, he didn't crawl.
No.
I didn't either.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we just sat upright
Mm-hmm.
and scooted along, you know. And he did the same thing,
Yeah.
you know. But the girls, they crawled,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't. He was a little bit different,
Yeah.
you know. He was always different than a normal kid, you know.
Yeah. So he graduated high school, went to Christian Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And then what did he do?
Well, when he had that operation at 10 years old, he was in, I think, the 5th grade or something like that. Why? Math is progressive, you know.
Right.
Addition, subtraction, multiplication,
Yeah.
you know. And you had to have them one right after another, you know.
Yes.
And of course, he missed out
Mm-hmm.
on the time he wasn't able to go to school,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because of his operation and stuff.
Yeah.
So when I got up to go to Christian Brothers, why, we had to have a meeting with the vice principal,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about they only had enrollment for so many kids, so many kids weren't going to make it, you know. And he talked about Chris's problem in math, and because he missed out on
Mm-hmm.
some of the division or multiplication or whatever. Anyways, he was to go to summer school and try and make up that difference.
Right.
Well, that teacher that had him realized right away, you know, the problems he had,
Mm-hmm.
and he took him through, you know, so he was up to par, and he was admitted to Christian Brothers, you know, enrolled to high school, and Christian Brothers, if you got a C, that meant you were on a level with the rest of the student body.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a B, that meant you were above
Right.
level, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if you got an A at Christian Brothers, you were really something special.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chris went through all the years of Christian Brothers with a B
Great.
average. And in other words, he was above
Mm-hmm.
C grade level. So
Mm-hmm.
he did really good, you know. And, after graduating from Christian Brothers, why, we enrolled him in the college over here.
Oh, community college.
Community
Yeah.
college, yeah. And he won a semester there. And then he decided he wanted to work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he got a job up here at 7-Eleven,
Yeah.
you know, working at
Mhm.
7-Eleven. But I was always worried about him, worried somebody come in to rob the place and might shoot him or something, you know.
Right.
And then he got a job with Sears Roebuck,
Mm-hmm.
and he worked for 13 years for Sears and Roebuck, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to work for Raley's
Mm-hmm.
and worked the rest of his time for Raley's.
How many years did he work for Raley's?
I don't really know. Over 20 years.
Yeah, it has to be over 20 because he was
Yeah,
in Raley's when Angela and I met in '98.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he was always really good, and when I quit working as a carpenter, I was 70 years old. And from then on, I drove him to work every day and picked him up every day, you know. But he was a good worker, and everybody at Raley's really liked him, you know.
Yeah.
And he was diagnosed with cancer and had spots on his head, you know. Everybody really was amused by that. They thought that was so neat, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He was an exceptional kid, you know.
Yeah.
But because of the fact that they told him that he wouldn't live to be 21, why he never got involved with girls or
Mm-hmm.
with women or ever thought about being married or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. He lived his life,
Yeah.
a good life. He was a
Yeah.
good son. Really good kid.
All right. All right. So now, my favorite topic. Tell me about Angela when she was a kid.
Angela?
Yeah, when she was little.
Angela was exceptional in her school, classwork,
Mm-hmm.
everything. And she was a real athlete. She played volleyball and basketball and baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And when she wasn't playing at school, she was in a girls' baseball league, and she played all through that. She was exceptional, all the way up into high school. She was so exceptional in athletics, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they always had the little league stuff, and I used to take her to all the games.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Dot had rheumatic fever for the second time, and she was at the current time when she got rheumatic fever for the second time. Why? She was a librarian at St. Charles.
Mm-hmm.
But then they told her she couldn't be around kids, you know,
Yeah.
on account of this. So I took her to all the games,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and all that. So, but she was a really good athlete
Mm-hmm.
and exceptional in her studies
Mm-hmm.
all the way through, you know. Then when she graduated from St. Francis, why, she went to UC Davis and graduated from there with honors
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So she wanted to go for a master's degree in international relations. So we tried to get her into one of the colleges here in California, but none of them would take her. And I just figured they were taking foreign students and Orientals and blacks before they were whites at the time. I figured that was probably part of it. But when she graduated from Davis, why, she had a girlfriend that was from back east, you know, and she went out back east, you know about that, but she went there and she checked out the colleges there in Washington, D.C. and stuff. And the top school for international relations was the University of Maryland. And she applied and they accepted her right now. And when she was going to the University of Maryland, she got a job with the Chief State School Department in Washington, D.C. And she worked for them for 8 years. You know about that.
Yep. Council Chief State School Officers.
Yeah. But she was an exceptional student. You know, Kelly was good. She was probably above average student. And she played sports, but she wasn't into sports like Angela was, you know. So, but they were really great kids.
Yeah. So what was Kelly like as a little kid?
Huh?
What was Kelly like as a little kid?
She was a little different.
Yeah?
Yeah, she said one time she was going to run away from home, you know. So I told her, well, it was okay if she wanted to do that. And I told her I'd help her pack her things. And then I'd take her wherever she wanted to go. And I told her just to call us once in a while and let us know how she's doing.
How old was she?
Oh, she was, I don't know. She was really young. I don't know. You might ask her that. But anyways, she thought we'd do everything to stop her. You know? And I told her I would help her pack her bags. And all that. So it changed her mind right now. She never pulled that again. But it was interesting. They were all three good kids.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. All right, let me